if you've tried to crack this six-figure launch with your coaching program or your info product and you haven't done it, then you're not alone. When it's just you, you're pretty much carrying the whole weight of your business. You're doing the sales call, you're doing the marketing, and maybe you're doing all the fulfillment as well. Or maybe you've got a few different contractors helping you out with a few different tasks. But for the most part, it's you. And for that reason alone, I think that's why if you haven't hit a six-figure launch, that might be the reason why. But the good news is, if you keep watching, I think this video is going to really inspire you to see what's possible. It's going to show you that if you've been stuck in that, five-figure mark on your launches for years, I want to inspire you with some hope that you can actually crack that six-figure launch mark. Now, the reason why I'm also showing you this video today is because I've made a bit of a pivot in my business towards email list management. Email marketing is how I got started in the world of direct response, and it's super powerful. And the person you're going to see me speaking with was actually my very first client that I got a big result for, a six-figure launch, and we did it all with email marketing. So I kind of wanted to set the stage for future videos where I'm going to be talking a lot about email marketing and stuff. That email is super powerful, it's not dead, it's here to stay, and if you haven't done a six-figure launch, stick around. Even if you only have a really small list, the cool thing is that Rebecca, the woman you're going to see today, she had a list of just 2,000 people. Look, the reason why I wanted to show you this testimonial case study video, let's not pretend what it really is. I asked her some questions that I know might be holding you back from getting to this six-figure launch level. Things like, why have you been doing things by yourself all up until now? I ask her, what are some of the major benefits that a copywriter has done for you other than, just writing the copy? I ask her another key question, like, what did you focus your time on now that you weren't having to spend your time writing all the emails and promotional posts? What did you do better because of that in the launch? And maybe by hearing Rebecca's answers, you'll hear yourself, and it might challenge you to think differently of how you're approaching your launches and your business right now. Oh, and if you get any sort of light bulb moment throughout this video or shameless case study, hit a like button. I'd really appreciate it to show your support.
Could we hear some of the specific results? So how many applications did you get, and then how many did you close, and how much was the value of that?
I probably spoke to, I would say, 26 people. And 20 people have signed up for the program, which is huge for me. That's a six-figure launch for me. So, but just, and a lot of that comes back to the copy, right? It always, what you're saying, how you're reaching people, how it's landing, how people are responding to what you're putting out there. So,
hey, this is Jules, and you just heard from Rebecca Davison. Now, she's a client of mine who recently, now I know we all live in sound bites, so I thought I'd just bump in here to give you a bit of context. So Rebecca did something that most people only would dream of. She had an email list of 2,000 people. She sold over $150,000 worth of her coaching program, and she didn't use any ad spend, no funnel. It was just simple sending it to a webinar. She sold on the webinar, and that was it. But the main hero of the story here are the emails that really helped take the stress away from her launch. So I thought I'd just come in to give a bit of context, because our interview is about 10 minutes long, but I know we live in the world of a soundbite. So yeah, if you just wanted to come here to hear the result from her mouth, is right at the start. For everything else, her journey, her struggle, what it was really like to have someone to help her with the launch. That's what this interview is for. Otherwise, I'll see you on our interview with Rebecca.
Oh, wow. I feel a lot of feelings, actually. I feel grateful. I feel relieved. Like, launching does take a lot of energy. I feel really grateful to you. So I'm really glad that I followed my intuition and worked with you, because honestly, it just, I'll say this as well, it just took so much stress off the table.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't recommend it high, just to know, because it also actually really helped me in terms of, like, I know my strategy and my structure, but I do work intuitively. So it was really great to have that kind of prompt there as well, that, this is the day and this is what you're doing on this day. It just made it so much easier.
Okay, cool. I definitely want to touch over this. Do you mind if I just get started into these questions? Cool. All right, cool. So could you tell me a bit, Rebecca, what was your biggest challenge prior to working with me in regards to promoting your launch?
So I have done quite a few launches over the years, and it can be really, really stressful. It takes up a lot of time. It becomes all-consuming, and you just often feel like, I've felt in the past probably that I've just been shooting in the sky, a little bit in terms of having a better structure, a better pace, actually having specifics in regards to this is what happens on this day. I've
Yep.
probably flown a little bit by the seat of my pants a bit more, and it can be really stressful when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I used to kind of be in that situation where this is really telling, where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. And now I'm very happy to say that, I want to do another launch.
Cool.
Right?
So was it the stress and anxiety of putting it all together that made you just feel like, oh, I just will wing it and do the bare minimum to get by and not really sit down and do the work, even though you got a million things on your to-do list?
Well, it's just that pressure, like, because if you're a coach, you've probably still got other coaching clients like I do. And it just can feel onerous because there's so much work to do, to sit down and write, a dozen emails for your launch can just seem overwhelming. So, it's just like a mountain that you have to climb. And it's, when you've got other stuff going on and then you're launching, it just all adds up to too much pressure.
Yeah. And what did you say you'd done in the past when you'd done your own launches?
I'd done it all myself, and it was
Yep.
crazy, like to be supported during a launch like this. And it's incredible. It's doing it unsupported by yourself is, I don't want to use that language, but it really can be nightmarish. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because every day you're like, there's something else to do, there's something else to do, there's something else to do. You can't just relax and go, okay, it's sorted. Yeah, there's always something pressing.
Yeah. And so why did you in the past just choose to do it by yourself instead of thinking I might get someone to help me?
I guess it's, as a business owner, I think sometimes you think that you should, or the investment in doing it. But, also as an entrepreneur, you get good at taking a calculated risk in terms of what's going to work for you. In terms of working with you, I am so grateful, like I said, that I followed my intuition, which is good since being an intuition coach, and to work with you because, again, it has changed the game for me in terms of taking the stress off the table, in terms of actually enjoying. That has been huge. It's one thing to make sure that you are hitting, the points that need to land with people, because you know what you want to say in your copy, but having somebody else's perspective is so valuable because they can see what you can't see. Right? I think that's huge as a business owner, especially when you are your business as well. So having somebody's outside perspective is really valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But, just in terms of actually enjoying the process, that has exponentially gone through the roof for me, which is so valuable to me as a business owner, because now, of course, I've even approached you to say, hey, let's do another one, as opposed to being completely exhausted, burnt out, wiped out, frustrated, just so relieved it's all over and not having any energy left. So that's been a miracle for me, really.
Yeah, it's that's that energy that you got to keep for your launch so that you could, show up to all those application calls and not feel completely drained. And then you closed obviously a lot of those calls. Could we hear some of the specific results? So how many applications did you get, and then how many did you close, and how much was the value of that?
I think, oh goodness, actually, which is interesting because I should have done my numbers specifically, but I probably spoke to, I would say, 26 people. And 20 people have signed up for the program, which is huge for me. That's a 6-figure launch for me. So, but again, and a lot of that comes back to the copy, right? It always, what you're saying, how you're reaching people, how it's landing, how people are responding to what you're putting out there. So, you know, the value for me in terms of having worked with you is just golden. And again, it's so exciting too, because it's like, well, there's a greater opportunity to do more together, right? Because, you know, like I contacted you and said, where are you? Let's organize another launch, right? As opposed to, I can't do anything for 6 weeks because I'm exhausted, right? So that's
Exactly.
massive.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but I did the numbers. I did roughly. I split the difference. I know it was 777, and I know that if after that it was 888, I believe.
Mhm.
I just did 8,500 times 20, and that's 170,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Have you had a launch like that before?
No. No, I haven't. You know, I've done launches before, and I've probably, you know, last year for the same program, it was probably around about 80. So 80,000. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we've more than doubled that, and we had a list of what, just over 1,000 people.
Yes. Yeah. I actually did a Facebook Live about that the other day, about, you know, how you don't need a big list, you just need the right people. But you also need the language, right, to find the right people. And I know what I want to say, but again, having somebody like yourself come in and support me in that process is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of these people came from email, or was it a mixture of Facebook and email?
Well, Facebook and email, definitely. But I think it's great too how, you know, because the way we worked it, they were getting the same information, which I think a lot of times, you know, repetition is actually really powerful. People overlook that. But at the same time, you know, it was tweaked slightly, of course, for Facebook. So it might have landed in a slightly different way. But, you know, both those communication channels are all about creating the relationship. So,
Yes. Yeah. So key. I think it also really helped that you already had that established rapport with your tribe. You just need the right message in front of them in order to put them over the edge. My last question to you is, what would you say to someone who's on the fence about hiring me? Because you were on the fence about hiring me at the start.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right? I would absolutely say go for it. You know, like you won't regret it. It will take so much stress off the table. What I really love, you know, because you know, the way we connected, and I remember reading some of the copy that you'd written, and even me reading it, I was responding to it. So, you know, that way I knew that if you wrote for me, then it would land with my clients, which is golden. So, you know, I'd already tested it really before, you know, I put you in front of my people. But, you know, what I think is really important is that you really found my voice. So if somebody else is looking to work with you and they're watching this, go for it. You won't regret it. It's an amazing investment. Again, in terms of freeing up your time and your energy, it's a no-brainer.
Yes. And thanks for that. And I'm just curious, what was going through your head when you're, you know, like a little bit skeptical, you know, like this guy doesn't have those hard and fast results. Were you sort of like, what was making you toss, like, I should go with my gut and go with this guy?
Probably the way that we connected on LinkedIn initially, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, like what you did on LinkedIn is really, and the way you messaged me really created cut through. And I thought that was really clever.
Yeah.
But, you know, and you know, you can tell people about that if you want to. But, you know, just you want to work with people who are authentic and willing and honest and, you know, who are willing to dive into your business. So even when we connected again, I recognized that, you know, you'd done a lot of research, right? You knew my language and you knew how I communicated with my people. So yeah, it was, you know, I was really thrilled. Even when we connected together and you'd written it, and then I was like, let's have a look at it. And, you know, it was a relatively short period of time because I just read through it and I was like, yeah, that feels like something that I would say, which is really important. Of course, when you are your business, you know, you are the offering. So yeah, and, you know, and now you do have rock solid results, don't you? So there you go.
Yeah, it was a bit wishy-washy before, but
yeah, but, you know, again, that's in terms of trusting your instincts, though, again, like, who do you want to work with? You want to work with people who are upbeat, you know, who have got an attitude, who are honest, Yeah, and who can deliver.
Yep. And did you have any doubts that a 26-year-old man was able to fit the voice of a 43-year-old to 50-year-old woman who's gone through a lot of pain and trauma?
No. Well, no, because if you're willing, then you can tap into it.
Mm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's just willingness, really. I mean, and again, willingness to use the language, no matter, yeah, you know, again, willingness to understand people and what it is that they're going through and what it is that they're looking for, you know, like really finding the solution for people. So no, I didn't have any hesitations about that. But again, I'm well versed at trusting my intuition. So if other people were watching this, you know, take it from an intuitive coach who trusts her intuition and her business has been working full time for 8 years, right? Doing intuitive coaching work, which is all about trusting your gut and knowing that if I can do this with you and get great results, then other people watching this should take my word for it.
Great. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I will